Good afternoon. My name is Bruce Wayne McClellan, and this is a presentation done for MCC Corporate College. Its title is New Game, New Rules. And we'll be beginning just shortly. Thank you for joining us today. We're actually simulcasting on Facebook and also on YouTube. The presentation will begin just momentarily. Welcome. The presentation will be beginning just shortly. We're doing a special broadcast for the MCC Corporate College, which is about new games, new rules, thinking outside the quarantine. We'll be beginning right at the top of the hour. Thank you for joining us today. Glad you could find some time in your schedule for us. As soon as I get the signal that we're going live on the corporate page, we'll get started here. Thank you again for investing your 20 minutes this afternoon in this short presentation. I hope you will find it to be extremely valuable. Hi, I'm Bruce Wayne McClellan. Welcome to this afternoon's presentation. We'll be getting started just momentarily. This is a special presentation for the MCC Corporate College, and we're going to be beginning just right immediately. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. Welcome to MCC Corporate College Connections. Corporate College offers these sessions fulfilling its charge to inspire diverse students to transform their lives and communities and drive regional economic development. These sessions can connect us with while striving to continue a mission of learning which continues today in virtual settings. We look forward to a resumption of face-to-face engagement, but until then, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and learn with us live. I am grateful for your showing up today. I know you have a lot of choices about how you spend your time. Thank you for sharing it with me today. This program is simulcast on Facebook and YouTube and will be presented on LinkedIn at a later time. New game, new rules, thinking outside the quarantine. One of my oldest, most favorite sci-fi thrillers is The Day the Earth Stood Still, a 1951 American black and white science fiction film. The film's storyline involves a humanoid alien visitor named Klaatu that comes to Earth, accompanied by a powerful 8-foot-tall robot, Gort, to deliver an important message that will affect the entire human race. As a harmless demonstration of their capabilities, Klaatu neutralizes all electricity everywhere for 30 minutes, except for essential services such as hospitals, airplanes in flight. The world stands still for 30 minutes, and there is widespread panic. When this film debuted, people wondered, is there any of this that could ever happen? Which makes this a very important point. The point that truth is often stranger than fiction. Since the middle of March 2020, our Earth has virtually stood still. Not for just 30 minutes, mind you, but 8 weeks and counting. We all remember our first reaction just 8 weeks ago. Yeah, I was just innocently, uh, I was just an innocent bystander. I was playing the game, and then someone came along and stole my game board. And then they made us sit in the corner. I mean, stay at home. I hate it. I'm scared, and I'm really pissed off. I mean, don't tell me what to do. But as I think about it, sometimes it's a little bit fun if you like instant spontaneity, unexpected surprises, and unanticipated strange things happening. Yet there is something beyond the obvious, and people are starting to take notice. It seems as though, in many ways, things have changed significantly with no signs of ever returning to the original innocent state. Hi, my name is Bruce Wayne McClellan, and I am the founder of The Mindful Leader, a leadership coaching firm established in Rochester, New York in 2004. We celebrated our 16th anniversary this past April. Our burning aspiration is to make a better world for our great grandchildren by liberating the heroic power of leadership in each of us. We work with business leaders who want to leave a legacy but lie awake at night, unable to sleep because they worry about their future and they are worrying about uncertainty. You deserve a chance to leave a legacy and get a good night's sleep. I know what it's like to lie awake at night worrying about uncertainty, but since I've developed the 3 giant steps for heroic leadership: know, love, and lead, everything has drastically changed for myself and the people that choose to work with me. In today's mini session, I plan to introduce you to the new roles at play as we anticipate the coming transition to the new normal, the new game. 4 new roles. There's been a paradigm shift of the magnitude we have not seen in a while. It is subtle in some ways and yet powerful in others. It's as though we are moving from one game to another, newer game. We all understand that a new game, we must have new rules, even though it may make us uncomfortable. I have noticed 4 new rules and humbly admit that there may be more. 4 new rules I'm talking about include: number 1, chaos; number 2, computers; number 3, connection; and number 4, creativity. I also call these the 4 C's. Stay with me for a moment, will you? I promise to be brief. Together we'll explore each of these 4 C's, the 4 new rules for the new game we are approaching. Rule number 1: chaos, the turbulent ocean. We are truly at war with change. WAR is an acronym I use in my coaching practice. It stands for the Wild Audacious Ride. The Wild Audacious Ride is about disruption in all of its many expressions: the good, the bad, and the paradoxical. It's anything that knocks us off the predictable path to progress. It could be something like a disease, an accident, or worse, or it could be something good like a wedding, a baby, or a vacation. As good as they often disrupt the predictable and take progress to a grinding halt. Then there's the paradoxical, like our current quarantine. Yep, kind of like on vacation, waiting for the sky to fall. It's a paradox. Anticipating the Wild Audacious Ride is like knowing that the train is coming, but the schedule has not been published. What if we knew that we could master the chaos brought about by change? What if we knew that we could make sense of the chaos and find endless learnings, opportunities, as well as new directions within this wild, audacious ride? That kind of chaos mastery begins with a childlike wonder of no preconceptions about what the chaos means. And chaos mastery is sparked by the intention create a positive outcome. In other words, mastery begins with a positive mindset and a clear intention for success. Mastering chaos looks like the big wave surfers who get towed into giant waves created by hurricanes, so they can willfully drop into giant waves. For some, these waves represent death, but for these crazy masters of chaos, the big waves represent pure joy. Difference is about the confidence and the intention of staying on the board. On the board, we discover happiness, success. Off the board, we discover sadness, defeat, and hopelessness. Yes, this is a metaphor. Once we get past grieving for the way things used to be, the relatively calm seas of the past, we can surf the big waves and find new meaning in the new game. Without the competence and intention, we become lost in the turbulent ocean of chaos, towed under by the massive waves of change, our personal, wild, audacious ride. Koyaanisqatsi, Life Out of Balance, is a 1982 American experimental film. The film consists primarily of slow motion and time-lapse footage of cities of natural landscapes across the United States. The film contains neither dialogue nor a narration. Its tone is set by the juxtaposition of images and the hypnotically cascading arpeggios of Philip Glass's music. Its images contain magnificently beautiful architecture and natural landscapes, as well as horrifying images of pollution, destruction, and death. In the Hopi language, the word Koyaanisqatsi means unbalanced life. A mindful assessment of LBQ, Life Before Quarantine, reveals that we have been out of balance in specific important areas. In the midst of the quarantine, we are catching ourselves about to fall off the surfboard into the ocean of chaos, and we do not want to fall anymore. Many of us instead intend to stay on the board, to regain our balance. So many of us are asking an important question. What are the important ways we are out of balance? What we have discovered is that we are fundamentally out of balance when it comes to the role of technology and to the role of people that we love. Rule number 2. High tech, high touch. Whenever new technology is introduced into society, there must be a counterbalancing human response, that is, high touch, or the technology is rejected. We must learn to balance the material wonders of technology with the spiritual demands of human nature. That's from the book High Tech, High Touch, Technology and Our Accelerated Search for Meaning by John Naisbitt, 1999. That was a long way ago. He has some great insights. John Naisbitt is an American author and public speaker in the area of future studies. His first book, Megatrends, 10 New Directions, Transforming Our Lives, was published in 1982. It was a result of almost 10 years of research. It was on the New York Times bestseller list for 2 years, most of that time as number 1. Megatrends was published in 57 countries and sold more than 14 million copies. My source of that information is from Wikipedia. In the book High Tech, High Touch, Naisbitt posits that we are living in a technologically intoxicated zone. Wait, that's a mouthful. With technology promises of time-saving, instant access to information, and broad entertainment platform, ubiquitous computing has been realized and adopted. The internet, in all of its innovative expressions, has become a constant companion. We have transformed from technologically comfortable to technologically intoxicated. We have become hypnotized by and addicted to the alluring and mesmerizing sensations provided by the ever-present, seductive electronic companion. This companion distracts us from the mild unpleasantness of day-to-day living. It fills the void left by the boredom, loneliness, and meaninglessness that we all may experience in the natural course of a day. No wonder we have adopted this so-called cure for the symptoms of a normal life. In contrast, touch, the missing element, is about direct contact with the real world, with real people. High touch is watching a sunrise with your best friend, putting your 4-year-old son on your shoulders, helping your daughter to teach her dolls to sing opera, receiving a tender kiss, sharing your favorite morning beverage with your significant other, embracing an old friend, laughing about nothing in particular with others less than 6 feet away. Could you imagine? And high touch is so much more. The idea behind high touch, is to remind us to balance our access to the electronic companion's interface in a virtual world with the access of the real faces of the organic companions of our real world. High touch reminds us to be both intentional and discriminating. It reminds us to be intentional about the duration of our exposure to artificial reality and our enjoyment of the only reality, our real life. It reminds us to be discriminating about the content of both realities and the priority we assign to each reality. High touch is a tiny mantra to remind us that we will not find meaning through seeking oneness with a machine, like the inhabitants of the Matrix, but rather we find meaning through seeking oneness with our gritty world and with its beautifully flawed people. Another way of looking at it is that technology is not made for technology's sake. We all know that just because we can create and use technology, it does not always mean that we necessarily should do so. That we can does not mean we should. As a futurist, I believe that technology is meant to uplift humanity. Balance is built on the understanding that the role of technology is to be of service to the highest good of society. Balance is realized through the insight that people matter more than machines. I believe that we all know that at some level, maybe in our gut, we now have firsthand experience as what we are forced to do without becomes very precious. In this quarantine, teens among us know that best. What we are forced to do without becomes precious. It is all about connection, real connection. All wisdom traditions have been supporting that idea for millennia. However, does research-based science agree? Good question. Rule 3, connection. How fragile we are. The deepest principle of human nature is the craving to be appreciated. That's William James, the father of American psychology. Anyone who's been paying attention to the human psychosocial research over the last couple of decades has learned that connection defines us as human beings. We live to connect. In Harvard's 75-year long-term happiness study, it tells us that connection is the secret to lifelong happiness. For over 75 years, Harvard's Grant and Glueck has tracked the physical and emotional well-being of two populations, 456 poor men growing up in the Boston area and 268 male graduates from Harvard. These folks were tracked through their college years, into their careers, into retirement, and later. According to Robert Waldinger, director of Harvard's study of adult development, one thing surpasses all the rest in terms of importance. He says, the clearest message that we get from this 75-year study is this: good relations keep us happier and healthier, period. That's a very powerful statement. The story behind this research is that if we want to live a long and happy life, then we should prioritize our relationships with those around us. Those include our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our cities, and now more than ever, it means also those around the world. It makes me wonder what I can do differently to improve my relationships. Perhaps the answer to this question is buried in another important study by psychologist John Gottman. Gottman's research with married couples reveals layers of the onion when it comes to human relationships. It reveals important insights to the things we can do differently in our relationships with others. In typical relationship scenarios played out again and again in Netflix romantic comedies and in real life, an inevitable interaction takes place. One character offends, hurts, or negatively impacts another. The predictable response is a positive one-for-one remedy, such as flowers, a box of chocolates, or some flattering words sung by the humbled character. According to this well-known prescription, the secret formula is one hurt plus one remedy equals happiness. The ideal result is that the relationship is restored and life is good again. Just as you know, that is not how it really plays out. According to Gottman's research, the secret formula for primary relationships is not 1-to-1, but 5-to-1. That's right, 5-to-1. 5 positive interactions for one negative interaction. And the formula for work or casual relationships is 3-to-1. This research by itself is mind-bending and a little unsettling. But there are some significant layers beneath this immediate realization. It does not mean that if I hurt someone, I need to provide 5 gifts and apologies. It does mean that we can do things differently by raising the number of positive interactions and diminishing the negative ones. In other words, deliver more praise, more genuine interest, and more appreciation, as well as delivering less criticism, less judgment, and less intolerance. However, the most significant story behind this insight is simply that human relationships are inherently fragile. Human relationships are fragile. Human relationships can be easily and permanently damaged. We've all seen this. For most of us, this is about doing things significantly differently. This is about a type of competency in connection making, a competency around unconditional acceptance. If connection is where our focus belongs, then understanding and developing unconditional acceptance, a safe world where we can foster and deepen connections, must become a way of life. The formula here is H equals C to the second power, or happiness equals exponential connection competency. Happiness equals exponential connection competency. I recognize that there are an extraordinary number of different ways to accomplish this. So let's take a moment here to explore just a few, how to get to this kind of connection mastery. Rule number 4, creativity, power of imagination. One of my earliest mentors and a man held in high esteem by the world of science is Albert Einstein. Einstein is recognized as an intellectual genius, yet he paradoxically refutes the importance of intellect in his statement, "Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere." That's because there's a limit to our intellect. At this time in history, there is nothing we can do to increase our intellect. Even gaining a coveted PhD does not increase our IQ. However, the imagination is truly unbounded in potential. In other words, the power of imagination is limitless. Let imagination be the tool we use to cultivate this connection competency. Let's try the following thought experiments to begin this journey of personal innovation. This is just a beginning in this short presentation. Thought experiments. Consider the new rules: chaos, computer connection, and creativity with each experiment. Number one, what kind of life do you envision that promotes connection competency? Number two, what old habits no longer align with the new rules? Number three, what new habits are missing? Number four, how does your life, work, career, calling, and higher purpose look in the new game? Number five, what new ways can I serve my community? And number six, what new ways can I serve the world? Obviously, it will take a tremendous amount of thought to get a significant result. Therefore, I invite you to participate in this thought experiment and others to address this important issue. In summary, four new rules. Connection is what defines us as human beings, regardless of the level of chaos or the advance of technology. Innovation is not limited to the application of technology. We can utilize the power of imagination to enhance our competency in human connection. I urge all of you brilliant, beautiful people to reimagine our world starting today. Every advance in civilization in human history began with an unreasonable dream that eventually evolved into an innovation that changed the world. You can change our world, make it even better than it was yesterday. Reimagine it wholesome and connected. Use technology to uplift us. Grapple with chaos to produce intentional and thoughtful change. Make a better world for them, for our great grandchildren. Thank you. Thank you for joining MCC Corporate College's Connections series on Facebook Live. Weekly sessions will be posted on the Economic Workforce Development Center and Corporate College Facebook page. For a broader list of course offerings, visit workforceforward.com/professional-development. We continue to not just train, but to transform in this unique time. This has been Bruce Wayne McClellan from The Mindful Leader. Let's make a better world for them.